Mr. Wasserlauf, so good to have you here.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here, and you guys have been good long friends for a long time, and I've been blessed to be partnered with Jennifer Pate for almost as much as many of those years as we know each other, Rick, because Jennifer was the host of Jen and Barb Mom Life, which was a Webby Award-winning show back when I launched BBE in the early 2000s. And we were doing original programming really before anybody knew what original programming was. And we had remarkable success together. So I'm going to turn it over to Jen, because we found each other again here just over the last couple of years to launch this very special project that Jennifer is going to take you through and tell you about. We're excited about it. We already have a first sponsor, so we've already demonstrated some great results. And I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Jennifer Pate.
Thank you, Matt. Nice to see you all, and thank you for having us. So as Matt said, we are working on a project together, and I'm going to share my screen and get right to it. Let me put this in presentation mode. Okay, there we go. Okay, so well, Matt said we did a show called Jen and Barb Mom Life. I'm launching, or I have launched, a new project called Feel Ageless, and it's about changing the narrative about what it means to age today. Feel Ageless is a lifestyle brand for women 45 plus to change the narrative about what it means to age today. Think like Goop, but for the every woman through the lens of aging. And as Matt mentioned, I've done this before. I did this with Mom Life, with Matt, with BBE. I won the Webby for Best Host. We worked with over 48 brands. I really pride myself in working with brands and product integration and shared messaging. We had 5 seasons, over 120 episodes, over 70 million unique views. We worked with Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Chrysler, SC Johnson. I wrote a book called The Mothers of Reinvention, which is a guide for women to have something that they're passionate about outside of all their traditional roles. And then I was a correspondent for Rachel Ray and Katie Couric. And I also had an HGTV show. And what I'm focused on now, and let me tell you why, when I turned 50 a few years ago, I had this moment of feeling youthful and young, and I had my kids a little later. And I was looking around at all these incredible women and men, but I'm really focusing on women. And I thought, who's talking to us? And it was like this light bulb when I created Mom Life. I saw this huge white space that we need information, and just some statistics about this demographic. There are over 50 million women with $22 trillion in spending. And I think that brands are missing out on this huge demographic. Women control 95% of the household purchasing decisions. And women spend 2.5 times what the average person spends once their kids are out of college. So any of these statistics just tell you what a huge, true white space there is for these women who are craving information. This is just a little bit more. I mean, it's the most influential generation in history, and it's gonna keep growing. So we are a production and media company, and we produce content, commerce, and community. We're focusing on content to begin with. In the commerce lane, I want to have a curated marketplace of only women-owned business. That's sort of 2.0. Right now, we're really focusing on our community and content, and really looking for the brand partners that recognize and value us. And how we partner with brands is through our syndicated show. We have a very powerful distribution model, which Matt will share with you in just a minute. As I said, I really work with brands. I mean, the branded content comes from my heart. I'm not just the host, I'm the producer, I'm the creator. And, you know, I am sure a lot of people know, especially with the brands, that consumers spend 88% more time on websites with video. That's such a powerful medium. I'll let Matt get into our distribution, but, you know, there is the importance of video is just, it is so important. And we've learned that, and we've had such success, and I feel like the world is catching up again. And I'm going to let Matt take you through a little bit about what he does of distribution.
Yeah, as Jen said, the world has changed just in the last 12 months with the pandemic. Now everybody is shifting from linear to OTT or streaming video. And so it's been an exciting pivot, because we've been preparing for this for the past 15 years. You know, as we started distributing Jen and Barb Mom Life, we had to do it the hard way. I mean, there weren't these apps, and we didn't have the swell of viewership that we do today. So we got really good and cut our teeth in the early days of distributing longer form content then across websites. So now today, with the growth of the app and streaming video growing in general, we are already well tuned into most of these, you know, all of these great new streaming devices. And so it's been a seamless pivot for us to push Jen's content into premium apps across media. We were able to track all the metrics associated with that. I mean, you could say we've been trained in a cookieless environment that's now just becoming cookieless. So we're really good at bringing all those analytics together from the distribution of Jen's content. So we're reaching scalable audiences across all devices, across all the premium publishers, and what Jen's flexibility in being able to not only create long form episodes, but also custom spots, custom commercials, and her nimbleness in the ability to work with the brands so that we can change creative and swap creative for social media and the OTT and CTV publishers is priceless. That's what really helps us differentiate our partnership with those big brands. I'll turn it back to you, Jen.
Okay, and we've just worked with Henkel, which was our first, big sponsor. And what I'd like to do, actually, because I'm a content creator, is I'm gonna show you what we did. We took their messaging. It was about being at home. It was about COVID. We did a custom series for them under the Feel Ageless brand called At Home with Jen. And they created their own site called Ask Team Clean. And I think we'll show you, I'm just going to share with you, because this really is what I do.
Do you have a hard time sleeping? These days, more than ever, there are a million things that keep us up at night. I'm talking with my husband, Jonas, and our doctor friends, Madeline and Tommy, about best ways to get a good night's sleep. Do you wish you could sleep like a baby? Okay, I don't know about you guys, but in our house, sleep is a nightmare. This guy tosses and turns like a rotisserie chicken.
A base.
So then when you
So like I'm grabbing for sheets, there's sheets being thrown on me.
That's because you're over the 50% line.
No, he'll literally say that.
dude, it's a king, right? You got plenty of real estate in there.
Well,
Leave a California king, you'd
okay.
think.
So do we.
Largest legal
But
bet in
no
America.
longer.
Right.
Is that right?
California king.
Wait, is there a
That's true.
legality?
Yeah.
Are there illegal bets?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Do you ever get on him in the middle of the night for the rotisserie thing? Or are you ever like, Jonas?
Yes.
Okay.
That's actually died down. Like, I think you've accepted it.
Yeah, because
Like,
I'm just worn out.
yeah, you're just worn out.
So I have to sleep on my side. And over the years, I have developed an affinity for the pillow between the legs.
It's a must.
Really makes the knees and the hips feel nice.
Yeah, I figured out a perfect system. It's taken years.
Walk me through it.
I sleep on my side,
And then how many pillows do you think you use?
4 to 6, 1 in between my legs, and then 2 in front, and then all the way around my back, like a giant U.
Wow.
It's like a barricade. Are we ready to go to sleep now?
So Jen
Yes.
sleeps face down, spread eagle, like parachute about to pull.
Dude, she
That's
sleeps in
all.
what I call the hostage position like this.
Right.
Good night. God help me. For me, if I don't get a good night's sleep, I am cranky and tired all day. As doctors kind of remind everybody of why we really need a good night's sleep.
It's the time when the body heals. It's when DNA repair is happening, memory consolidation. So when you're distracted during the day, a lot of times that's just you haven't had adequate sleep to consolidate those memories.
That's good as we're getting older for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of sleep,
Yes,
this
this is a
would be,
great example.
Maddie, how do you do it? Well, I don't worry about much. One thing that drives me crazy is he stares at a screen until he falls asleep, and then as soon as he's awake, he stares at a screen again. Please tell us that that's not good, doctor.
That's really good for me, right?
Professionally or
Yeah.
personally?
Yeah.
Actually, both probably not so good.
So there's something called sleep hygiene, which basically refers to how can you maximize your body's potential for quality sleep. Trying to get to bed at the same time each night, avoiding food and caffeine 4 to 6 hours before you sleep, avoiding screen time. That includes TV, it includes your computer, it includes your phone. There's a specific kind of light that emits from those devices that is actively disruptive to your sleep architectures.
Another thing that really disrupts my sleep is alcohol and chocolate. That's another one where
But wait, I love chocolate and
I
I
know.
love my wine and I love my chocolate.
alcohol can shut down your body's antidiuretic hormones. So when you drink alcohol, which most of us do some nights, then that
Some by meaning all, yeah, just a little bit.
but that can definitely cause you to have to get up several times to go to the bathroom.
And in an ideal world, you would minimize all these things. The room would be dark, it would be cool. The body gets best sleep at about 68 degrees room of the room
Yeah.
temperature. So that's why people, including myself, now sleep with an eye mask, because it's creating that additional sense of darkness, telling your body it's time.
Nowadays, it's like eye masks, mouth guards, earplugs,
Oh, yeah.
sound machines.
I'm all of that. Yeah.
Tommy, he wears an eye mask, like you mentioned, but for me, I think he wears a mouth guard that's supposed to be an anti-snore.
Yeah. It's embarrassing as all hell.
Sexy baby.
Oh man.
Woo!
It's
Tommy
business
with a
time.
mouth guard.
Put that thing in, it's time. Business
Yeah.
time. No, it does help though.
I really like melatonin,
But there are other things that stimulate melatonin too, and one of which is darkness.
and I like sheets and pillowcases that are clean and fresh and soft.
Thread count's important.
I have a little bit of sensitive skin, so what I wash my stuff in is really important.
Your skin is the largest organ in the body, right? It absorbs everything it comes in contact with. So you want it to be in pajamas that are made from natural fibers and washed in things that don't have allergens or perfumes.
I want to know what everybody sleeps in.
Nada. Except for the eye mask
Just an eye mask and a mouth
and the mouth
guard.
guard.
yeah, baby.
I've
That's
seen
so
you-
hot.
I've seen
Especially-
you went to home and bathed you.
Right?
Right?
If I get up out of bed, they're like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry.
Hey, but we're out.
Wrong house.
Too weird to rob.
This episode is brought to you by All Free Clear Laundry Detergent. It's 100% free of perfumes and dyes and is the #1 recommended detergent brand by dermatologists, allergists, and pediatricians for sensitive skin.
So with that's, I mean, to me, that really shows you how we partner with brands. I mean, you can see the product integration, you can see the storytelling, you can see sort of, I always call it talk show, reality show hybrid. And so we have so many different ways to partner with brands. And, we'd love, to be introduced to any brands, if there's anyone here, but it will really, for me, and I'll just leave it at this, it's really about having our health span on par with our lifespan. So it's really preventative care, from financial, travel, relationship, beauty, health, it's sort of all of it. So that's who we are, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Okay, wait, stop share. All right.
Yeah, and I guess I just wanted to share one last piece. I mean, Henkel hired us and they wanted to promote these brands. We integrated these brands. You saw the all liquid detergent. And they confided in us that they had a problem, that their agency partner wasn't driving the email registrations that they were hoping to get. So Jen, in a very nimble fashion and quickly, customized a spot or spots to drive people to the Henkel website. And we blew the doors down. We drove tens of thousands of email registrations because Jen said, click now to enter to win this sweepstakes. We were offering a laundry machine and dryer for Henkel. And we outperformed the major agency that was trying to drive those email registrations. So it's just one example of how we customize not only the episodes, but commercial spots to drive the client's objectives. So it was a huge win for the brand as a partner of Feel Ageless. So that's our story. We'd love to answer any questions if there's any questions. And thank you, Rick and Mike, for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Great you're here. So tell us a little bit about the process of how you would go from talking to a brand and the agency, how collaborative is, who are all the partners that sit down and figure out a show? Is there a workshop that happens with everybody? What's the creative process?
The creative process is I get a brand brief. I get on a call with the brand directly. I get the brand brief. I look at messaging. For example, with Mom Life, Dodge was our exclusive car sponsor, and they were really into things like, adventure. So I would take keywords. I would think, what is some content that I want to do that's going to resonate with the women who are watching me? And then I create some episode ideas, and I send a handful of ideas with product integration with really that brand messaging in mind. And I kind of marry the two to create a story. And then they see, I always give more than they need, a few more ideas. Like, let's say they've bought, 5 episodes. I'll probably give 7, 8 ideas and see what sparks with them. I continue to work on it. If there are issues, usually some resonate, and then we just start going from there. And then, and for me, it's really, the storytelling is very important. It's more than just obviously a commercial. It's lifestyle. So that's how I work with brand, and I work up and usually this was the first time I've not had a brand on set because of COVID. Henkel couldn't fly in. But of the 48 huge brands I've worked with, somebody then comes on set usually and is there, and they're watching a shoot, and they're also there because they can hear to make sure if there's any keywords that I need to sort of get into the conversation, we make sure that we make it happen. So it's extremely collaborative with the brand directly and with me.
I've never seen anyone like Jen over all these years who really gets into the weeds and works with the brand to make sure that their objectives are met, integrating the products.
Jen, do you have episodes or shows that you want to produce that you think are brand ready, that are that it's not a response to a brief, but just a show you want to do and you'd like to align a brand with?
Well, one thing, and I know all you men are going to love this, is menopause. So it's something that people don't talk about, and it is what every woman goes through. And I think there should be the menopause series. I also think there should be the relationship series. Like, I've been with my husband for 25 years. There's sort of two sides of the coin. There's a lot of people who are single for the first time after all these years and are out dating and don't know how to do that anymore. And there are those of us who are going to be empty nesters in a couple of years and want to fuel our lives. So I think there should be a relationship series. And I also think very much a financial series, women entrepreneurs working. Most people, as we all know, have to work longer than they've ever had to before. Most families have to have 2 incomes. Women have been juggling home life and work. And I think that really helping women with their finances and with a career is I'm really passionate about.
Well, there's a whole bunch of stories right there. The relationship stories. Chris Pendle's still on with Airstream, and I'll bring it back to Airstream again, because when my wife and I became empty nesters. We decided we'd get a trailer and drive back to visit our daughter at University of Missouri. We had a 23-foot trailer and it tested our relationship. The two of us and two dogs. So on the way back this summer, my wife looks at me and her name's Jean, and she says, you know, we're going to need a bigger trailer. Right out of Jaws. But, you know, that's a great one is, you know, empty nesters. All of a sudden there's no children's voices in the home. And, you know, it's like, I kid my wife, it's like once she leaves, she's got to deal with me on a full-time basis.
Yeah, well, I've got one going to college in the fall and then another one the next year. And we were just in Barbados for 2 months for work for my husband. He created a show called Outer Banks on Netflix. And so we were just there for filming, and our kids came back a little earlier and stayed with my sister, and we had a couple weeks. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. So, and adventure as a couple is super important. I mean, one thing I know from interviewing and talking to people is having new experiences, having adventures as a couple is really important. So
Yeah.
I hope my kids can't hear me, but I'm kind of psyched.
Absolutely.
I still actually like my husband after all these years. What a concept.
Yeah, well, congratulations. That's great. Thank you so much for being here. Anybody, comments, questions? We're all here to help. There's, I'm thinking of so many brands in our network, Jen and Matt, that you need to talk to, and that we'll send this recording around to as well. That, gee, there's over 100 brands on the BSN this season that are going to want to watch this. We'll make sure we'll get it in front of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all for participating in another Story Club. Until next time, we'll see you back on the BSN. Thanks for being here. Keep those great stories coming, and we'll see you all again real soon.